So we're going to examine the crayfish first. One of the things that we're going to want to notice is this hard exoskeleton, and that's going to be present in our class of crustaceans and our phylum of arthropods. It's going to provide protection support to the body, and we're going to notice that the top half of this body is a fused head and thorax, and we are seeing cephalization in this animal because we're seeing these important sensory organs like the antenna in the eyes, as well as mouth parts for feeding up here at the top. But we're also noticing that the abdomen is going to come down in these segments and culminate in this fan-shaped tail, as we can see down here. It's also going to have these two large pincers, and on its underside, if we have a picture of that, we are going to notice that it has these walking legs, and then underneath the tail, swimmerets, where a male is going to have large to pronounced first pair of swimmerets. So next we're going to compare that to the outside features of the squid. We're going to see the interior view of the squid. We have cephalization down here with eyes and mouth parts. This long one here is a tentacle with arms around it here. Its mouth is going to be tucked away in the middle of those tentacles. We're going to be seeing fins at the end of this outside part. This is the mantle, and these fins are basically going to be providing stabilization and steer during swimming. But one of the big things is that this animal has large So the crayfish is going to have a digestive system that starts here at the mouth. It's going to enter through the esophagus and enter a stomach part here. An interesting part is that there's actually two chambers. There's the cardiac stomach, where food is ground up with the help of the gastric mill, and then the pyloric stomach, where further digestion is going to occur. But we can actually see teeth inside the stomach here. It is then going to be digested and waste material passed out of the intestines and the anus. So next we're going to look at the squid's digestive system. So looking here, this is the part that we're going to be referencing, but in a close-up photo, we're going to see these little teeth that are attached to the suckers and these arms. This will pull fish into this, this mouth here that actually contains a beak inside a strong, muscled little ball. And if you take that out, you can actually see the two different parts, these sharp, sharp, sharp beaks. And that's actually going to be used to crush the food and really, pass it small chunks into the esophagus for easier digestion. The stomach is going to sit around this area, and this is where the food's going to be digested, and it's going to receive a lot of absorption of nutrients higher up into this part from a cecum, and then after that has been digested, it's going to pass out actually through the back, the dorsal side, through an anal tube. Next, we're going to take a look at the circulatory system of the crayfish. We had this weird, unidentifiable mass that kind of tore up and destroyed the insides, and this is kind of what we were left with. You kind of see some of these structures in here, but basically the crayfish is going to have an open circulatory system with a heart that's located here in this thorax area, about right here, and it's actually going to be pumping something called hemolymph, and this is what the crayfish's blood is, and it's going to fill in spaces surrounding the organs, and this is what's going to facilitate that gas exchange. We're actually going to see that the gills, you can see them here, are attached to the walking legs, so as the legs walk, it's actually going to be causing the passing of water through the gills, better increasing gas exchange. Next, we're going to look at the circulatory system that is in the squid. So the big difference here is that the squid is going to be super predatory, so it's going to need a closed circulatory system to provide the blood pressure necessary for the aggressive movements that it's going to do. It actually has 3 hearts, and the hearts are going to sit up here where this blue area is. It's going to have a central heart. This is the systemic heart that's pumping hemolymph to the body, and then it's going to have 2 brachial hearts that sit about right here and right here. And you can actually see the gill here. This part down here attaches up into this brachial heart, and these hearts are pumping blood to the gills, and that's for insurance of efficient oxygen transport because of the fact that they're so predatory. This is the reproductive system of the crayfish. They're actually going to be experiencing some sexual dimorphism. They're going to have very pronounced males and females. The males have a larger and first and second pleopods, and they're actually going to have these things due to them needing to transfer sperm to the females. The females are going to have a seminal receptacle, and that's going to store sperm until the eggs are laid and fertilized. And after fertilization, the female is going to carry eggs on her swimmerets, which is going to be this little area on the inside of the tail here, and she'll carry them there until they hatch. Next, we're going to talk about the reproductive system of the squid. The squid is going to have a little bit more complex mating. It's going to involve the male using a specialized arm called a hectococylus, and this is going to transfer sperm into the female. And internal fertilization is going to occur. You can kind of see we have the nematodal gland up here, if that's how you pronounce it, and on the other side of that we have the ovaries here. And so these internal fertilization is going to happen, and the female is going to lay eggs in clusters, and it's going to basically develop externally until these eggs hatch.